Hey guys, and welcome back to Gaming to the Future. In today's video, we're going to be comparing the very first Mario game, Super Mario Bros., that was made in the 1980s, to the newest game in the series, Super Mario Bowser's Fury. Now we know Odyssey is technically the newest full game, but it's with the newest installment released along with 3D World Remastered, so we'll be comparing that instead.
But anyways, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel if you want to see some random kids play games from the early ages of gaming and compare them to the video games today. Also, if you want to stay up to date with our uploads, you can hit that bell button that's right next to the subscribe button so you can get notified of our next video. But with all that being said, let's get into this video.
When playing through the levels of this game, you aren't able to backtrack. This makes it so there are more secrets than you can miss in each level. Mario games are infamous for holding lots of secret 1-ups, war pipes, and secret areas in their levels, and this game is not an exception. This gives the game much more replayability and makes you think twice before running through the levels. That being said, there is a time limit for each level, which makes finding secrets in levels much harder. Something this game introduced that has become very iconic is the question mark block. These question mark blocks hold coins and power-ups. In newer games, there would be more than 5 power-ups, but the first Mario game only had 3. These power-ups were the Super Mushroom, which made Mario bigger, the Fire Flower, which allowed you to shoot fireballs from your hands, and the Invincibility Star, which made you invincible for a limited amount of time. For the Super Mushroom and Fire Flower, if you got hit, you would lose the power-up. Each level got harder and harder as the game progressed. The enemies you would see in the first world would be Goombas, Piranha Plants, and Koopa Troopas, sometimes with wings, which would be called Paratroopas. In the second world, you would see Bloopers, Cheep Cheeps, Hammer Bros, and more, Koopa Troopas, Piranha Plants, and Goombas. Some more enemies you'll see in later worlds would be Lakitus, Buzzy Beetles, and Bullabills. Each level has a theme. For some levels it's nighttime, for others it's a water level, but there is one theme that is in every world, and that's the Bowser's Castle level. In it is a bunch of fire obstacles. Once you get through that, you face Bowser, which except for the last level, is a fake Bowser. Once you do beat the real Bowser in the final level, you finally rescue Peach. That's basically all the original game had to offer. And that's all it needed to, because it went on to sell more than 30 million copies, which compared to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Nintendo's current best-selling Switch game, I think, is a lot.
Now let's talk about Bowser's Fury. Bowser's Fury talks about how Bowser Jr. has run away from home because Bowser has been taken over by some weird black ink that has caused him to be mutated and even more powerful. So Bowser Jr. asks Mario for help. Mario complies, and that's how the story begins. Throughout this game, you as Mario can not only pick up one power-up, but you can pick up more than 20 of them and store them for later. These power-ups will go to Bowser Jr., which we will be talking about a little bit later. But the cool thing about this is that you can kill a lot of enemies quicker and you can explore the world much easier. But since the developers of this game knew that you can explore the world much easier, they added lots of new features into the world to make it harder for you to explore. One really cool feature about this game is that while Mario's exploring the world, Bowser can pop out of nowhere and cause a lot of havoc for Mario. But the good thing is, while he's here, he can blow up specified blocks that Mario can further explore. These blocks can open up shortcuts, or they can open up more possibilities for cat shines for Mario. This is a really cool feature because it's never been introduced in any other Mario games. Throughout Mario's exploration, he'll be fighting a variety of different enemies. These include Goombas, Koopa Troopas, Bullies, Hammer Bros, Boomerang Bros, and Bomb-Bombs. All of these enemies are infused with cat powers, so whenever he defeats them, they have a chance of dropping a cat power-up, which is always very useful for Mario.
Now that we finished talking about the two individual games, let's get into the comparison. Let's first talk about the similarities. To start off, Bowser's Fury still maintained the question mark block and the coins, along with the Fire Flower and Super Mushroom. Most of the enemies from the original game returned. The ones that didn't make the cut were Spinies, Lakitus, and Buzzy Beetles. That was a short list. Well, there wasn't really a lot that stayed the same between the two games. But now that we are done explaining the similarities, here are the differences.
There are lots of major differences between the two Mario games that are pretty noticeable. For example, the 2D versus 3D graphics and the position Bowser plays in the game. But there are also some differences that aren't that noticeable between the two games. For example, the difficulty. In the first game, the game is actually really difficult if you were to play it. But in Bowser's Fury, it really isn't that difficult because it's only meant for fun. This is because the game has evolved to be more fun than hard.
Alright, after comparing the games and explaining their similarities and differences, here are our thoughts on each game. The experiences I had with the first Super Mario game was that the first few levels were pretty fun, pretty easy. The music was alright, but when you got to the later levels, it got so difficult, and the music got better, I gotta say, and the changes were that the stages got different and the enemies obviously got different. Like there are Spinies now, and yeah, different enemies like Lakitus and stuff like that. But I gotta say that I didn't like the difficulty. Like the difficulty, I could understand how it could be appealing because of modern games. They're pretty easy now, so I can see the appeal of difficult games. But the difficulty of the NES games at the time were just over the top for me. Yeah, it just wasn't for me. But the newest game of the Super Mario series, Bowser's Fury, I find it to be pretty fun, and not because of its low difficulty level, but because of the open world. I like the open world type thing. The music was orchestrated, so that was pretty cool. And another thing that I really liked was the art style. I just loved it. It just looked really nice. And I like the little changes they added, like the enemies now cats, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I also liked how Bowser just appeared out of nowhere. It's kind of cool. Um, and I just liked it because it was fun. It wasn't rage-inducing like the last game. But yeah, overall, I think that was a pretty good game.
Now let's talk about our experiences with Bowser's Fury. Overall, the game was really fun, but not that challenging at first. It got a little bit more challenging at the end, but that's just because it was the end and the game wanted to test our skills. But overall, the game was really fun to play because of the overall premise and the overall art style and the gameplay. And mainly because Bowser was like a looming threat throughout the game. And also because he would appear like occasionally to scare Mario, and sometimes you would fight him. Like it was really fun. It was really fun to experience. It was kind of like Dark Souls in a way. I don't know why I get that kind of vibe from it. It's kind of like a Mario Dark Souls if you were to really think about it. Compared to the first Mario game though, it's more funner but less of a challenge than the first Mario game, since the enemies aren't that overwhelming and Bowser is kinda hard to defeat at first, but once you get the hang of him, he's pretty easy. So this mainly just proves our point more, at which, if you want to get a harder game, get the first Mario game, you just try it out. But if you want to play a more funner, laid-back experience, you could try the latest Bowser's Fury game.
Now, do I think that the original Super Mario game aged well? Well, no. But honestly, I think that's up to the person that's playing the game, because they have different preferences on what they like to play. I personally just like to play fun games and games that let you explore the world, and I just like world building. So yeah, Super Mario, the original game, wasn't for me. But I feel like it was a nice innovation and a really big contribution to why we have the games that we have today. I think a lot of games got some inspiration from the original Super Mario Bros. Game because of how much of an innovation it was. So, even though it might have not aged well, we still have to respect the impact it left on gaming.